obviously you build a relationship with your audience. And as you build that relationship, you get away with saying certain things. And that I understand. Like you have to give them a reason to love you before you give them a reason to hate you. That's like rule number one in radio. You don't ever come in hot. Like they got to get to know you. And I feel the same way for like, this applies to social media. Like don't come in hot with these massive opinions and like let them get to know you. And then you can start showcasing more of who you are.
Welcome to the Justin Landis Show, your real estate podcast about having conversations, building relationships, and creating freedom. And today, I'm here with episode 2 with Kristin Klingshirn from the Kristin Show. And we are back in our reverse seats, different than the radio. So Justin Landis here with Kristin on my show.
On your show.
You're back on my show again.
I like it. It's less pressure, if I'm being honest. I just get to sit here and just, run my mouth.
See, I think it's less pressure here because I get to sit here and listen to you. So maybe funny. This is the way we should do it. All right.
This is. Yeah.
All right. So last time you talked so much about your story and building your brand. And then you talked at the very end, and if you haven't listened to this, you got to go back and listen to last week's episode about a Instagram post that went viral, had 1.5 million views. And so I want to dig in today to your social media and the authenticity and vulnerability that you've had in it, and what that could mean for real estate agents who are listening, who are wondering themselves, like, I want to build a brand, I want to connect with people, but I'm not sure how vulnerable I should be. What should I do? Tell a little bit about your strategy and then maybe how that could apply to a real estate agent.
Yeah,
What's been your social media strategy?
It's hard out there if you want to be an influencer because the market is so saturated, right? Mm-hmm. And I know when it comes to real estate and realtors trying to make yourself stand apart, right?
You know how many real estate agents there are in Atlanta in the MLS? There are 20,000.
See, yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And so, yeah, it's one thing to like jump on a viral trend, and those pop up in my algorithms. I see real estate agents doing some really cool transitions and, funny things, trying to get people to view their content. And it's one thing to jump on a trend. It's another thing to create your own trend. And if I had that secret sauce in my back pocket, I'd be a multimillionaire.
We wouldn't be on this show together.
No, I still like you. I'd still come on your show.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
So, I mean, that in of itself is actually like another job. Like managing your social media now is like another part-time job. So you're taking what you're doing for a living, which is, my instance radio, in your instance real estate. And now you're adding more hours trying to figure out how you capitalize on social media. And again, it's the input versus output that I talked about last week. If I'm going to put, because reels, mad props to social media people and directors because that stuff takes time to do. Yeah. And if you're a perfectionist like me, I'm a little on the neurospicy side. So if you're a perfectionist like me, I do something, I am going to edit it till it's unrecognizable to make sure it's like perfect. So take a little advice from me. It doesn't have to be perfect. Our Easter Bunny, our sad Easter Bunny viral reel that we talked about last week, there was actually a mistake in the beginning of it. And Ethan and I were devastated. There was an audio glitch in the beginning of it. And we posted it and we were like, no. Still went viral. So don't get hung up on the perfection.
Okay.
All right. You need to get hung up on the authenticity, the vulnerability. Like if you do something, and Ethan and I have done this, like don't post it just because you put the hours and time into it. If you do something and it looks stupid or it feels stupid or it feels inauthentic or it just feels like it's not going to hit, don't post it. It's not time wasted. It's a lesson learned, right? And Ethan and I did that the other day, just this past month or so, when we had the Georgia primaries. We wanted to do something to encourage people to go out and vote. And we put one together and we spent over an hour, which may not seem like a long time, but for me, like an hour is a long time to work on something. Oh, yeah. And we didn't post it because after I watched it a couple of times and I really let it soak in. And I'm like, that's not going to hit. Like, I feel like that's not the vibe we were going for. So, and we didn't post it. We posted something else that ended up, doing well. So, don't look at it as time lost. Look at it as a lesson learned, and do not share something just because you put time into it.
Yeah. On that sharing side, how do you decide what to share? Because I think that's a challenge for people who want to be authentic, but then you're like, am I oversharing?
Yeah.
Is this too much? Do people want to hear about it? How do you decide when to be vulnerable and what you shouldn't share?
I don't think there's ever a wrong time to be vulnerable, right? As long as it's authentic, as long as you're not forcing it. There's so many things that I wish I would have posted that I haven't. Again, we can't live in the past. And social media isn't the end all be all, but we'd be ignorant to say it's not a huge component now to business and to marketing, because where else are you going to have an audience like that right at your fingertips?
I had Jonathan Rich on here a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about when we started 10 or 15 years ago, you didn't have to have social media as a real estate agent. But now it's like, hey, this is part of the job. Yeah. I mean, this is just part of what you've got to do.
And I mean, if I had the time and the energy, I would have more platforms. So I would encourage you to have multiple platforms. I only focus on Instagram.
But there could be some power in that as well.
Depends on, and I know because with Meta and Facebook and Instagram are now intertwined. Like, whatever you post on Instagram, you can also post on Facebook, et cetera. So you can cross both platforms. But for me, I choose to put my focus on Instagram because I know my demographic. Yep. I know I'm a woman of a certain age, and so my peoples are on the Instagram, not on the TikTok. So I don't worry about TikTok because, as I said before, my input versus output, I want to focus on Instagram. And if I'm going to do it,
you want it to be good.
I want it to be good.
Do you follow some sort of schedule, or how do you plan things out? How do you have pretty consistent content? How do you keep it that way? Okay.
So Ethan and I, my co-host Ethan of the Kristin Show, we've been working on coming up with some form of schedule. And he and I actually have been tweaking that formula here in just the past couple of weeks. Again, very kismet. We're having this conversation.
I like it.
And we were posting too much content because there is you can't post too much content because you want to create a demand, right? Yep. And so we started cutting back, and now we're only posting on the Kristin Show account. We're only posting one break from the show that day. Okay. But then I was like, that didn't feel like enough. So I told Ethan, I'm like, how about this? We post one from the Kristin Show because we talk about pop culture, but we also talk about our personal lives. So if we have a break that is like focused on me, I will post it from my account. Yep. And if you have a break that's focused on you, you will post it from your account. We will collab. And so we're in the process of testing that theory to see what kind of traction we get.
So even after years, because you have been posting for years, you have a great following and engagement. What I'm hearing is you're still tweaking.
Oh, absolutely.
You're always trying to improve, get it better, even after lots of success already doing it.
Yeah. I mean, because it's ever evolving and it's ever changing. So, I mean, we've been tweaking with how long the posts are. Obviously, shorter is better as far as grabbing attention span. But because I don't have another outlet yet for people to digest the show, social media is our main platform. So it's hard to take these breaks and cut them down to 30 seconds when it's like, but I want everybody to hear everything we said.
So obviously it's fun when something goes viral and you get 1.5 million views. But I'm sure over the years you have posted things that have gotten some negative comments and people have not liked. And I know that's a fear for a lot of people. They're like, well, if I put things out there that are real or vulnerable and they're actually like interesting, well, there might be an opposite perspective or a hater on it. How have you dealt with that over time?
Yeah. Oh man, the haters.
They're out there.
The mean comments, the trolls. So back in the day when I first started in radio, they were kind enough just to send you an email. And so I just used to get the hate messages directly into my inbox, and at least I had a name and an email address.
And it was just going to you.
Yeah, right? It was just
not the whole world.
Not the whole world. And then slowly but surely, as everything evolved, if you have an opinion, more than likely somebody is going to have an opposite opinion, and they're going to let you know about that.
That's what makes it an opinion.
And so that is one of the downsides of doing what we do for a living, whether you're a media personality, you're a public figure, or if you are just utilizing social media, period. Doesn't matter. Because if you're on social media, you're an influencer in your own right, because you're sharing your opinions, your thoughts, your life. And then if you also throw kids into the mix, a lot of people have thoughts about parenting, Justin. I don't know if you noticed.
Yes, they do. And they like to tell you about that.
They love to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yes.
Rarely
Which
do they like to tell you what you're
there's
doing
nothing more
right.
than a parent likes better than to have somebody else tell them how to parent their kids.
No, please judge me, especially if you don't have kids.
Oh,
that's
even better. Yes, I love that. That's even better.
So with the hateful comments, right? And this is something I am still working on. This is something that, and maybe it's for you, maybe it's not for you. That's something for you to gauge. I don't do Facebook because Facebook is so nasty. That was a boundary I created for myself.
Yep.
You got to protect your peace, right? And I was Facebook cutting there for a very long time. I would actually seek out the negative comments. Again, your girl's neurospicy. So I realized what I was doing was detrimental to my mental health.
You couldn't help but look even for the comments.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is human nature. So, we obviously, what I do for a living, we share opinions. You have to have an opinion. Otherwise, you're going to have the most boring radio show on the face of the earth.
It's not going to last very long.
No. And so that's what we had opinions. And sometimes we have very strong opinions. And I am not opposed to somebody saying, hey, I don't agree with that. And this is why.
Yeah.
I am opposed to somebody coming on there and, cracking on my looks and just going for the jugular and just being nasty and rude for rude's sake. That's unnecessary. Yep. And in all sincerity, my heart couldn't take it. It really, it takes a toll on you, because you could have a post, right? And you're like, yeah, what I said and blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, I wonder what people are thinking. And you go and you look and you have 100, yeah, it was awesome. And then that one person, that one comment out of 100, and that's the one you're going to fixate on because it's human nature. I wish it wasn't, but it's the nature of the beast. So I drew a line, and so I don't do Facebook anymore. I stick to Instagram, and I have a strict policy that this is my house, and if you disrespect me, I'm kicking you out. So I've created my space, right? Yep. And I will allow polite discord, but if you come in and you say something nasty, or if you're just being a troll for troll's sake, you're blocked. It's that
So
simple.
you had to put some boundaries in place.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have no problem blocking people. I have no problem muting people. It's as simple as I've created this space and I enjoy it. Right.
And now when you see it, you are able to deal with it better. You're just shrugging this off. This is my space. This person shouldn't be here, and I'm moving on.
Well, I don't want to give false hope, but I shrug it off. I take a beat, right? It still stings. I'm not going to lie. It stings because I'm a people pleaser. I want people to like me, right? So anytime somebody says something that makes me feel like they don't like me, I'm going to take it personally. That was the key of me learning. You can't take that stuff personal. This person, yes, we're out there. We're putting ourselves out there. Yep. They know me, but they just really know a snippet of me. Yep. I think people need to realize that about social media. You're literally getting a blip of people's lives. And you're getting a very polished blip for the most part. Unless you're like me and then you just post whatever. And so the comments would come in and I'm like, if I'm not going to take advice from this person, I am most certainly not going to take their criticism.
Oh, that's good. If I'm not going to take advice from this person, I'm not going to take their criticism.
No, my inner circle. I trust my inner circle. They're going to give me criticism. I know it's coming from a good place, not from a place of hurt. And I've also learned over the years, that comment has nothing to do with me. Yep. That comment has everything to do with that person, whatever that person is going through. So it actually gave me a little more, believe it or not, empathy. Not saying that I'm
Look at you growing as a person through other people's ignorance and meanness. Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, if we can't learn from other people's ignorance.
There you go.
And so, but it doesn't mean that I am going to allow people to disrespect me, right? There's that balance there. And so I see it, I clock it, I don't engage. Yep. I'm not going to I'm not going to argue with somebody that's in a hurt place. And so I sit there and I take it in, and then you realize like, this comment is not about me. This is about them. I'm not going to take it personal. Oh, wait, that does hurt a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to acknowledge the hurt. Okay, now we're going to block and move on.
Talk a little bit about the scrutiny as a woman that you have, because it's a different level of scrutiny. Mm-hmm. How have you handled that, and how's that been for you?
Yeah. God bless Bert. So when I was on the Bert Show, he was always ahead of the curve. He had a great mentor in Kid Craddock, who was a visionary. Mm-hmm. And I also consider Bert a visionary in radio, as far as like, okay, how can we make our product as accessible as possible to people? First it was streaming, and then it was the Bert Show podcast. Mm-hmm. And then it was, making like, radio is not so much auditory anymore. It's a very visual medium now, thanks to, we have cameras in studio that are constantly filming us. And so he got cameras in studio, the YouTube channel, and then you have social media. Like, you want to diversify yourself and give people as many opportunities as they can to catch you. And when we were on, the Bert Show on Facebook, it was comical to me. I say comical, otherwise it would just be sad. The level of hate the women on the show got compared to the level of hate the guys got was astronomically different. Listeners were so much harder on the women on the show than they were the men on the show. And when I say listeners, I mean primarily women.
Ooh.
Yeah. So women and men, but primarily women. And you could go and you could look at the comments, and it would be like, Bert could say something. It'd be like, oh, ha, 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 that's just Bert. He's so funny. And if I would have said the exact same thing, it's like the sky is falling. And I'm not talking about like in the beginning, because obviously you build a relationship with your audience. And as you build that relationship, you get away with saying certain things. And that I understand. Like you have to give them a reason to love you before you give them a reason to hate you. Yeah. That's like rule number one in radio. You don't ever come in hot. Like they got to get to know you. And I feel the same way for like, this applies to social media. Like, don't come in hot with these massive opinions, and let them get to know you, and then you can start showcasing more of who you are. It's again like the long game. It's not the short game. And so this was years in. Like, I had built that rapport with the audience, and I was still getting. And I mean, we would constantly get attacked for our looks. The guys on the show never once got attacked. Well, that's not true, because Bert will be like, that's a lie, Kristin. They crack jokes about me being short all the time. I'm like, okay, that's not it. But it's for our appearances. And it's one of those things, as a woman in radio and a woman in media, what I've learned over the years is that you can be funny, but you can't be too funny. You can be pretty, but you can't be too pretty. You can be smart, but you can't be too smart. You can be opinionated, but you can't be too opinionated. You can be emotional, but don't be too emotional. And I am so proud to say that I've now gotten to a point, and I think this comes with, honestly, with age, especially for women. I am who I am. Yeah. And either you like it or you don't.
So maybe that's the advice, but how would you apply that to the female real estate agent who is listening and is nervous about the same thing or has dealt with the same thing? Yeah. Is that the advice? To be who you are?
Yeah. And it's so corny, and it's so cheesy, and it's so cliche, but in all sincerity, like, be yourself. Get inspiration from others, but at the end of the day, do it through your lens. Yep. Like, what would this look like from your vantage point? Yep. Because it is, and it's so easy to get beat down and get defeated, and I understand that. And allow yourself, like, give yourself grace. Yep. But at the end of the day, you are not going to be able to please everybody. Yep. So that's a pipe dream. Yep. I gave up on that yesterday. No, I was kidding. I gave up on that a while ago. You can't please everybody. So if you stay true to yourself, right? Yep. Find a passion, find a voice, and share it, and then don't let people beat you down with their opinions. Yep. It's going to happen. You're going to take some shots, and it's going to hurt. But
let's talk our final thing here, because we've talked about a good amount of challenges that we face to do this. But it's also, we're talking on the challenge side, it's been super successful for you as well to, to be vulnerable, to share yourself both on air and on social media. And, you've talked a lot about you're a perfectionist. You want it to look great. You want it to be, if you're going to do it the best. I actually am the opposite side on the stuff that I do. A lot of stuff that I put out, I literally do it on the very first take.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Could it be better? Probably if I took more takes, but
oh my God, I take 100 takes, Ethan. It drives my co-host crazy.
I doubt I've ever taken more than 2 or 3 takes on anything I've ever put out.
Good for you.
I write something and I read it. I'm like, that's pretty good. And then I might, edit it once, but it's like, I just get it out. And I think there's obviously the content. If you're putting out perfectionist content, you're going to have stuff that is hitting 1.5 million views. I'm not hitting that, because I'm not putting that kind of time in, but I am getting stuff out. I'm not getting stuck in analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the risk to me as I listen to it of, I want it to be perfect. I want it to be really great. I might be nervous about what people are going to say. Is what might you not end up getting anything out, but you do want to get things out. And so how does someone strike the balance of not having analysis paralysis, but getting something out if their nature is not like me, where they're just going to throw out the first thing that comes to their mind?
Here's what's so funny. In the beginning of my morning show radio career, there was no analysis paralysis as far as what I was saying on air. I just said it. That analysis to paralysis has been something new for me the past couple of years. Because of cancel culture and because of how easy something can go viral now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the past couple of years, I walk on eggshells around my opinions because I fear something's going to get twisted, taken out of context. It's going to go viral and viral, not in a good way. Because you want to go viral, but you don't want to go viral in a bad way. And so I've really struggled with that the past couple of years on air and on social media. And I've kind of closed myself off a little bit to certain things that I'm willing to share because of that fear. And I'm just now starting to come back out of that and to find my confidence in saying certain things and posting certain things and being resolute in who I am and knowing that what I'm saying and what I'm posting doesn't come from a bad place.
Yeah.
I believe I'm a good person. I'm a flawed individual, but I feel like I'm a decent person. But if somebody's just comes across you on their For You page, they don't know you from Adam, they see it and they take it the wrong way. So I understand the hesitation. I understand the fear. And I know people are going to be like, that's so corny. You have a fear about social media, then just don't do it. But when you're in our industries, that's not really an option. Yeah. So you got to figure out a way to make it work for you. But I think I took some hits over the years that closed me off, and I'm just now starting to reemerge as the
so would you say for people to pick
pick
the things you're most confident about, and if you're at first just stick in those lanes of the things that you're most confident about to make sure you're getting out the content, you feel good about it, and you build that trust that we talked about last time of eventually people are going to trust your voice because you've done it. So
a prime example of something, and this stuff sticks with me. I try not to let it fester. I file it away. It's not it's not in the front, it's in the back. But when my dad passed away, I was very transparent about the grief journey and speaking about grief. I was a daddy's girl. We were very close. You are never the same once you lose somebody that you're incredibly close to. And it 1000% took, and it still does. It took a toll on me. And everybody in our lifetime, we're all going to experience grief at some point in time. It just that's the part of being alive. That is life. And Bert was great when my dad was on hospice, and I was doing the show from Orlando where he was, and we were chronicling the entire thing. And then I get back, and grief is a forever journey. It's the person doesn't die and then you grieve, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, that was it. No. I just the other day I was in the car and I was listening to CCR and I thought about my dad and, shed a tear as I'm driving home. And that's the love needs somewhere to go. Yeah. It's not going to disappear. I'm always going to love him. Therefore, I'm always going to grieve him. So I'm talking about this on the air, and I don't think I was talking about it. I know I wasn't talking about it obsessively, I was talking about it when it was relevant to conversations, and we share our personal lives. And so if it was something that had happened recently, if I got like a little wink from him, I would discuss it. Somebody posted online that I talk too much about my dead dad. And so it was one of those moments when I was like, well, then you know what? Screw you. I'm not going to talk about my dad anymore. You don't get access to my heart and to my thoughts about my dad. But the only thing it did was a disservice to me because now I'm not being authentic because I want to talk about my dad. He was the freaking best. Like, Pops was amazing. He had the best jokes. I mean, so why am I going to censor myself just because this one person is uncomfortable with grief? And then that's when you got to take a beat and you're like, this is about them. They're dealing with something. And then I became like, no, this is what's on my heart. You know in your gut when you're supposed to talk about something. And so like his birthday is coming up. So, of course I'm going to do a post and we're going to talk about it. And Father's Day is coming up. So, I'm going to do a post. I'm going to talk about it because, man, that's real life. Why would you not? And you can't worry. Some people are going to be uncomfortable with it. And that's for them to figure out. That's not for you to figure out.
Man, Kristin, so much wisdom in your journey. Thanks for sharing this story because I think a lot of people are going to be able to resonate their own story of trying to find their voice and where is that line and how do I post stuff and what do I do when people disagree with me or are hurtful and
they will be. That's again, if you're going to be in the social media game, that is par for the course. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish we could change it, but I've also learned like if you can't change it, then you have to change the way you react to it. Like there's people in our lives, there's things like I can't change this person, but I can change the way I let them affect me. Yeah.
Let's not let those people influence us and hold us back from the impact we're having, because I've got to think that the impact of sharing your grief story helped the numbers, not even in the same ballpark. You helped so many, very few people on the hater side, but it does hurt. The hater does hurt. Let's not let those people destroy us and help stop us from helping other people.
Preach. I'm here for that. I co-sign for that.
All right. Kristin, thanks so much for being here for 2 episodes.
I feel so honored.
These have been amazing. They've been an absolute gift. And everybody, I want to thank you for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we will be back again next week on The Justin Landis Show.